And the sound is bad, controls are bad, everything is just trash. You can't be a developer. If you're making shit like this, like, you can't be a developer, bro. I'm sorry.
Tired of your friends saying this to you? Does your game not feel good? Well, not a problem, because today, I'm gonna teach you how to feel good. I mean, I'm gonna teach you how to make your game feel good. Now, just for your information, this isn't a tutorial. I'm just gonna show you the basic ropes here. I've seen so many developers have great ideas, and honestly, they have a pretty good demo going too. But oh my fucking god, does most of these people miss one thing that makes their games go from 0 to 9,000 if they just put this one element in their game. Game feel. Let me show you an example here. Here's one of my games that I've been working on. It's a multiplayer game with balls that can use abilities. One of these abilities allows me to spawn a wall from the air. Now in your head, I'm sure you have this amazing imagination of what it's going to be like, but if you were to try to apply this yourself, it just never feels the same. It plays out in your head so well, but you have no idea how to execute it. You're not alone. This is what the ability looks like. You're probably thinking, bro, this man has no idea what he's fucking talking about. But let me show you the same ability with the game feel.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's game feel. From here on, it's gonna get a little technical, so for any non-Unity developers watching, I'm sorry. Let's break down how I did this. I start off with an idea in my head. For this ability, I was inspired by those Earth-style jutsus you see in Naruto! Now look, you don't need to be a good modeler to have good game feel. My game is about balls, for fuck's sake. To make you feel better, let's start off with this famous overused object. Let's add a jump to this bean here with a bit of code. Now this is honestly fine, the core mechanic is there, it just lacks the oomph. You don't feel the jump even though it's happening, there's just not enough visual feedback. But look what happens when we add in some animation that scales the object. Pair that up with some smoke particle effects and it just looks a ton better. I'm just using the particle library that's made by Unity here, so you can use it and morph it into pretty much any effect you want. It's completely free. Now, since some of you might be like, well, how the fuck did I do that? Here's how it's actually done. I'm assuming you already know some basics, so here's how your animator would look like initially. Yes, this is how your jump cycle should actually look like. Why? Well, it depends, but more often than not, your jump consists of a wind-up, an in-air animation, and a land animation. If you know some animation basics, you can pretty much figure out the steps right after. Let's now look at the audio. If you don't have any sound in your game is just gonna be trash. That's a given. Sure, visual feedback is good, but if you don't have any sound going in your ear, those visuals will render pretty much useless. So put the goddamn audio in your game. In our case, we need a jump sound. Although it's not only one sound, we need 3 sounds, as our jump is broken up into 3 parts. One after the wind-up, one in the air, and one when the player lands. I'm gonna be using Zapsplat to get some spare sounds as I can find something specific. They are free too, but you have to credit them. Anyway, you're gonna have to put them up in Audacity and cut any delays to the audio. Just make sure you have something that suits the feel you're going for. Totally depends on what your player is playing as, what their environment is, and so on. I just added in some concrete type sound effects and gave it a bit of flair. So we're gonna execute these sounds within an animation event. Make a function to play the sounds, place the animation event, and results. Believe it or not, a lot of game devs neglect the importance of audio, so if you do it, your game just becomes 100x better. Let's go back to the balls project I talked about earlier. The sounds for this specific ability are well timed with its action. Before the impact happens, I'm giving it this whoosh sound effect that emphasizes on how powerful it is. You can basically express how powerful or weak or whatever any mechanic is through game feel. So make sure you put him in your game at some point. Even early on is totally fine. In a bigger project, this step is pretty vital to actually make your game a bit more playable from a gamer's perspective. It'll keep you motivated to further work on the project as you can see the game coming together. There's a lot of stuff I missed like screen shake, post-processing and whatnot, but I just wanted to mention the basics for now. I'll try to do a more in-depth video of how all of these things actually pair up together, so stay tuned for that. And there we have it. That's game feel in a nutshell. If your game still sucks right after, don't worry about it. You get better the more you actually do these small steps. I'm not an expert either, just thought I'd give my 2 cents. It takes months, if not years, to truly get good at the skill. Also, don't get me wrong, some games can still be good without these steps. It really depends on the design and what its purpose is. Minecraft kinda breaks this rule entirely, so you really don't have to take whatever I said to heart. It totally depends on the game you're making. Once you nail it, your game will be good as mine.
Nah, your game still sucks.
Oh, you son of a bitch!